They've got sweatsuits, they've got gym bags, that's fine. But the reality is that most of our kids don't have that, and that's not something that we're looking to, we don't think that's where the emphasis ought to be. But even when we just get a uniform with their name on the back, that's thrilling.
As time has passed, we've all explained to him who Mooch was, what he stood for, and so while they didn't know him personally, I think they do feel a connection, and more than anything, I think they feel a connection to the coaches working with them. He and a guy like Bobby Smith, these are guys that are really proud of all the things that Trenton has accomplished as a soccer community, and you know, Mooch was a guy that never forgot where he came from. So it was a natural for him to be back in this area.
We started first with our recreation program with the base of players we had there. And what we realized was that we had a very good recreation program where the city didn't previously. But what we lacked was a program for some of the more talented kids.
We just giving the kids something to keep them busy, keep them supervised, give them a little inspiration, give them a little discipline, just add to their routine where normally they'd come home from school and maybe have just a full day to get in trouble on their hands. Now they had something to look forward to.
The city, for a variety of reasons, was phasing out some of its programs, unfortunately. So even the recreation program that we had built up from maybe 15 to 20 kids to about 300 kids, for budgetary reasons and other reasons, the program was cut in the last few years. So our Mooch program has become one of the few really organized soccer alternatives in the city.
And from there it sprung into more of from what started off as just Saturdays in the fall of 2006, just bringing the kids out to Mercer County College to play and receive a little training, is expanded into you know, training activities all during the week.
Well, Glenn and I met trying out for ODP, and he was about 14 at the time. I think I was about 16. We played for Manfred Schellscheid. He's one of America's best coaches, ended up coaching Seton Hall U.S. national team, took us to Germany, and he was big for his age. He was like a freshman, I was a junior. And the one thing I noticed about him, how strong he was, but he was very skilled. And he was hard to get the ball off of, but he had a wonderful personality and demeanor, and as tough as he was very sensitive too.
With Mooch being very well known in the Trenton area, very prominent soccer personality, he had, as far as I understand, had always been beyond the ability of all the players of his generation. Went on from Trenton, local Trenton soccer, to Hartwick College up in Oneonta, and Herman Trophy winner, and continued into the professional game. And so just this huge personality, this huge reputation.
That's what Mooch did. Mooch was a guy from the Trenton area who played at the highest levels here in high school, and then went on and played at Hartwick College, was the college player of the year, and then went on to play professionally here in the States, and reached assistant coach level for the U.S. national team in the World Cup.
Eventually he went on to the pros and ended up playing against Pele, marking him. Pele wasn't in his prime, but he could still play, and ended up captain of the Portland Timber. He was voted on the rivals team of the Cosmos. The Cosmos had their top 11 that they didn't like playing against, and he was one of them. It was a very difficult time for me. My mom had just passed on, and the wonderful thing about Mooch, when he was in Germany, he would email me to try and keep my spirits up. And I didn't react too well either to my mom's passing away, and I started to get sick. It was an acid reflux sort of thing. And in the middle of that, he passed on, and I was in total shock. And it was a tough thing to put into words, because I knew if I tried to do a double sorrow grief thing, it would have finished me off.
I was just shocked. Just that, I mean, everyone was just in shock, because he was just such a fit guy, you know, such a guy who was so full of life, and it was shocking and devastating. And I guess you know the program was a way that you know you wanted to keep his name alive.
Mooch really was, as he moved along, all about sort of seeing the game promoted to kids, and if he were to be aware today of a program that's named after him, that's dedicated to working with kids in the inner city, and the city's a lot different place than it was when Mooch was growing up. It's a tougher place today than ever it was. That's just the nature of things. He would be thrilled. And we know he would, because we've heard that directly from his mother, who's been out to a number of our things and just has told us, and his wife, how humbled and thrilled he would be to see that his name is associated with a program like this.
That was very important for Mooch, because he wanted to give back, and it wasn't about him. That's why so many people, I mean, the list is too long. Mickey Falker, former policeman in the Trenton police force, who was a tremendous player himself. So many people jumped on board, and just in a matter of 3 or 4 years, the impact was phenomenal. I mean, kids getting into the U.S. national team pool.
Through Charlie and Verso, Charlie arranged for the coaches, and we had, oh gosh, probably anywhere from 8 to a dozen coaches from the Trenton, Mercer County area, all of whom have either played it or coached at a pretty high level.
I can honestly say that it's the best soccer experience I ever had. Every time, and you know, when the program first started, I was heavily involved in going out on a lot of weekends to work with the kids, and it was always a feeling like, oh, I just want a day off. And as soon as you got there, the kids would energize you. And I never left a Mooch session with anything but a great feeling. And it's part of what makes you a human being, is you get a good feeling out of the contribution.
You know, it's a lot of problems, and like everywhere. Try to get involved with the kids in the sport, keep them away from any problems, drugs, gangs. Like most of the cities got that problem, but that's something that I really like to work with the kids. I really enjoy having fun with the kids. I love soccer. It's my sport.
It's important for them to know that there's somebody out there that cares about them, and it's important to know that they're part of something, because every kid needs to belong to something. And unfortunately, a lot of these kids there's a lot of bad things waiting for them.
Mooch had a connection to these kids, because it's about the underserved and underprivileged, and it isn't just about a handout either. And these kids are struggling, and they're from all different walks of life, and we want to give them a shot to go somewhere through soccer.
Before all of that, if the 100 or so kids that are in our program, if many or most of those, because of sort of the support that we're providing here and the development they have, are able to succeed in school, at home, in their neighborhood, and just go on to be good, productive citizens, if we will have had some part in that development, I think we all will feel our program has been a success.
We're just getting to the point now in our 6th year where kids we started with at 7, 8 years old are entering their middle teens, and hopefully we'll see the first group of Mooch kids transition into college.
Who knows, one day we'll see a kid who came out of the Mooch program who's playing for a professional team, or maybe representing the U.S.
It's so important that you remember your roots, and we're all human. And it doesn't matter whether you have money or don't have money, we all have hopes.
And maybe we see some of these kids come back and are involved with a Mooch program as adults, or maybe start their own programs. So I think that's our ultimate goal, is that you take a bunch of kids who maybe but for these kind of programs, the model that they see or the opportunities that they have are much more limited, and that maybe we'll make a very positive difference in their lives. That would be our hope.